2008 World Youth Championship. So that was when we first sat up and took notice of this man, and he's been to Olympics. He's been to 2008 and 2012. He's won numerous titles. He had some great tussles with some other outstanding backstrokers, and he wasn't a bad butterflyer either, was he?
And he was a tremendous in the relays for New Zealand in the 4x100 medley relay.
And here he goes with, well, we question how much preparation is felt inclined to do for this. Daniel Bell representing Aquanites. He's up there in high points.
John, I just want to mention the swimmer that's out in front, Michael Dai, actually is a Chinese representative, got a bronze medal at the last Olympics for China, currently training in Auckland. Now that's an interesting one.
Yeah. Well, look at that. That's smooth and just that classic finish there. Bell coasts in a wee bit, but he does finish in second place, Daniel Bell. Here we are, yes. Michael Dai from the Harlequins club. That's who he's representing at the moment. From Coast. So, yes, a bronze in the freestyle relay. And there he goes. He's won more points for the Harlequins. So Bobby Gishard, we saw how impressive she was just a couple of races ago. Now she's looking up to Ian Jones.
Well, congratulations, Bobby. Your coach gave you the Joker's cap, and there's no shortage of Jokers in your personal. No question, but you come up trumps in the 200 back.
Pardon? Sorry?
Come up trumps in the 200 back.
Oh, yeah. It was quite hard, but I found it quite good. So.
Listen, we know you had a wonderful season, a breakthrough season last year, 240. What are the goals in 2015?
Probably to qualify for Junior Worlds and Worlds, so that will be quite good.
Have you got a time in mind that you have to do?
For Worlds, I have to get my PB, so under that, and for Junior Worlds, I just have to stay in my PB. So.
Well, thanks, Bobby. Train hard and go well.
Thank you.
Well, that's one of the interesting prospects looking forward to the national championships. There we see Stephen Kent, who's just a stunner, and
well, he's gesticulating because he's going, I had to swim that event for points and I got 8th.
Yeah, I think that was it.
Put me out there just for 4 points, and look at him, he's exhausted.
Next race coming up.
Please, you said he was a stunner.
So we've got a joker being played in lane 3 there, lime green cap, Zach Reed of Aquanite. This is the 1500 freestyle. So we'll have a chance to have a look at each of these young swimmers and comment on their style and the differences in style that we can see. But if we run through them, starting in lane number 1, Simon Wardhaw of Marcos. Aragon Moore of All Stars is in lane number 2, down here with the black cap. And the green, that's Zach Reed of Aquanites, who has a time that's well inside the others, and he's a sub, about a 16.5 he's got alongside his name, 15 years of age. Sebastian Prescott of Harlequins is in lane 4. It's in the white cap. Nicholas Pride of Marcos has the grey Marcos cap on, and Tom Berry of All Stars is in 6. Benjamin Rowe of Aquanites in 7, and Leo Tattersfield of Harlequins in 8.
Zach Reed turning in the first 100 metres in a 101.5. That's a pretty fast first 100 metre split. So if we have a look at him, he's from the Aquablades New Plymouth team. Sue Southgate is his coach. Sue Southgate doing a tremendous job out of New Plymouth, with so many of our swimmers now, our age group swimmers, evolving out of that program. Very experienced coach out of New Plymouth.
That's Zach Reed.
But notice they'll kick in and out of a 4-beat to a 2-beat kick as they swim this. You want to try and, so off the wall, you kick a little bit more, but Zach will go from a 2-beat kick into a sudden 4-beat kick. Pretty relaxed stroke. Good technique. You can see how the shoulders are elevated at all times. Breathing just to the one side, to the left-hand side.
And the white cap, sorry, it's Sebastian Prescott from Waterhole Club. He's in 2nd place.
So Sebastian Prescott in lane number 4, breathing to his left, just keeping an eye on Zach. And you'll notice immediately Zach continues with that breathing pattern of breathing to his left, as we also see Sebastian doing the same. Although every so often you'll see him switch it back to the right just to keep an eye on Zach. You can hear a little bit of a slap out of his stroke, just in the catch area. But I like the way that you can see under his armpits, that just means he's got elevated shoulders. And you can see the bow wave coming off the shoulders, coming off the hips as well. And that's a good indication that you're being efficient in the water.
Just touching in third place there is Nicholas Pride from Neptune, 15 years of age, representing Marcos. They also have Samuel Wardhaw in lane number 1. And he's also 15 years of age and from Neptune. So 2 Dunedin-based swimmers representing Marcos.
Yeah, interesting. We talk about the Dunedin program, and of course for so many years it was dominated with Duncan Lang, legendary coach of Danyon Loader. But it took a step back, obviously, in the last few years of Duncan Lang before he passed away. And really, we're now seeing another resurgence of swimming.
Well, we've got 1,500. This is the longest event in the pool here. But, of course, as we've mentioned already, there are open water swimmers who've been selected for New Zealand just at the end of last week. And one of our outstanding open water swimmers and national selector is Philip Rush. He's with Ian Jones.
Yeah, thanks very much, John. Well, Philip Rush, I mean, the list of what your feats have done in the open water swimming is tremendous. I know you're not often inside a pool, but 10 times across the English Channel, 8 times across the Cook Strait. You've done some of them multiple times. Let's ask the obvious question, why the heck?
Oh, well, they're always there. And, you know, I was never good. There's only 8 lanes in the pool, and I was always 9th or 10th. So I was good at keeping a good pace. I was from Dunedin. I was used to the cold, and Duncan Lang used to flog the buggery out of me.
Let's talk about that first time that you even thought about conquering Cook Strait, the preparation that goes into a feat like that.
Well, I was training for 1,500 metres and 400 metre swimming. Duncan decided that, you know, that wasn't long enough for me, and we went into a 3K event. And after that 3K event, he said, look, you're ready for Cook Strait. Hopped in, and we had a good day, and I raced that day. I still remember it. I raced the world champion across at that time, and we had this race across, and I ended up winning. So that was even better. So, but that was at the age of 15. So the rest is history.
Clearly then, when you get in the zone and you decided to take on the English Channel 3 times, did you hop out? Are you allowed to hop out at all during it when you hit France and then when you come back and hit England?
No, I mean, when I look back on it now, it took 4 years to get the weather right. It took 4 years to get the team right, and it took 4 years to get me right. And eventually, when that day came, everything happened. We were fortunate enough, and I say fortunate because there's so many things have to be put together that, you know, 5 world records in 28 hours, and, you know, 3 of them still stand, fortunately, but it was a team effort. Everyone, you know, I had to swim it, yes, but they had to keep me alive and keep me on track.
Now, you're still even today very actively involved in open water swimming. You're helping people across the Cook Strait. As this year, and it's been a golden summer, let's be honest about that, has this been a good year for Cook Strait swimmers?
Oh, yes. We had a young lady called Anna Plunkett across before Christmas this year, 7.5 hours. She was just 18, a good Wellington girl. And I've got people coming in right through to the end of April from all around the world, because it's become one of the top 7 swims in the world now to compete in. So it's very exciting.
Just tactically, we've got some young men swimming the 1,500 metres in a long course pool, so a 50-metre pool. What should they be thinking about tactically?
Well, they would have gone out hard for the first 100 and 200, and from there they will be building each 100 and probably a group of 500. So that last 500, hopefully they've got plenty left in the tank to give it to their competitors, but it's a matter of evenly pacing. You can't go out too fast. If you go out too fast, you're going to be dead by the 1,000. You've got to be evenly paced all the way through, so that last 500 you can give it the medicine and start making some inroads.
And of course, you're also here as part of the Zonal Championship. You're putting on the old Budgie Smugglers soon and raising money for Stroke New Zealand.
Yes, no, there's a lot of legends going to be out here tonight, and there's a 93-year-old here that's going to be swimming, so it's very exciting. And once again, it's for the charities. It might not be pretty. A lot of us haven't done a lot of swimming since then, but I'm sure that we'll put a good performance on.
Well, thanks very much, Philip Rush. You take 10Ks to warm up, but you're going to do it in 50.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, Ian. And Philip Rush, what a legend of distance swimming he's been for New Zealand and continues to be involved. And I often thought, I mean, I meet up with Philip every now and then, and I try to avoid him when I can, really. But, you know, I often thought you've got to be slightly strange, don't you, slightly mad to want to swim Cook Straight once. But when you decide to touch and turn at the halfway, well, that's really, you know, you've got to be a lunatic almost.
Yeah, people tried to avoid you, John, but going back to Philip Rush, look, 10 times that he swam the English Channel, 8 times Cook Strait, 2 times double over the Cook Strait as well, and twice over Taupo. Incredible. Who would want to do it for a start? But you have to admire him for just the tenacity to keep going and to be able to do it once, but do it 10 times in terms of the English Channel and 8 times for Cook Strait.
So we're back now with this 1500 metre for men under 15 and under, and we've got 14 and 15-year-olds in this. The man with the green cap is Zach Reed.
Zach Reed doing a really nice job here. We've talked about his technique. We've talked about his kick, so he's trying to conserve his kick as much as possible. You don't want to use too much out of your legs, legs being the biggest muscles in the body, and they can deplete you of energy very quickly if you overkick in this 1500 metres, 30 lengths of the pool. These swimmers will have an indicator at the far end of the pool every time that they turn, and that indicates how many lengths they have to go. This young 15-year-old doing a really good job as he turns at the 800 metre mark in 8 minutes 50.
And of course the officials have to try and keep tally of the number of lengths they've done, because as they head down this direction now, you'll see at the end of the pool some lap numbers up there. The swimmers don't normally have to check on that, but every now and then you'll see them just have a glance. They'll be in that zone. Philip Rush said it well actually about getting into the zone and working on tactics as you go out there, 500 metres at a time or whatever each swimmer wants to get into a mindset for. And you just notice coming off the wall there that it's not as if Reed is just plodding along and getting into a rhythm. Off the wall, big kick, just drives him away from the wall and just sets him up for that next 50 metres.
Well, you've got to remember that the walls, the turns, give you a little bit of an advantage, an increase in speed. So you don't want to use the walls and be placid or be complacent on them. You actually want to use them as an acceleration, increase your speed, and then drop back into steady state swimming again. As we see, great shot there of Zach Reed coming off the walls. He went through the first 400 metres in 4 minutes and 20 seconds, the second 400 in 4 minutes and 30. As he matures as a swimmer, he will start to make that a lot more even. So rather than going maybe through 420, maybe 424, in the second 400, we want him to come back in 424 as well.
This is a zonal championship, the second such event. First time it's been held here. There you see the points going up. Harlequin 772, All Stars 698, Aquanites 679, so less than 20 between second and third. And the Marcos are back down to fourth and 642, but still well within grasp of the others, as we have had now, what, an hour and 40 minutes of swimming here.
So during this 1500, a few of the teams will actually be getting their swimmers together and just talking to them a bit about where they are in the points, as we see Zach Reed lapping one of the swimmers inside him. And that's actually a really neat feeling as a swimmer when you know over a 1500 that you can lap a swimmer outside of you. Because Zach Reed here will probably know that he's got some other swims to do, a 400 freestyle later on. So he doesn't want to use too much energy. It's not about time, it's about finishing, and he's the joker, so he needs to finish in first position, but also to conserve as much energy as he possibly can.
Well, with the swimmer who was just past them was Aragon Moore from All Star, Aragon from Swim Zone Racing in the Wellington region, a man who's had a lot of involvement with the Wellington scene, is a former national swimmer himself and Commonwealth Games gold medalist, and outstanding coach Gary Hurring, who's within.
Very much, John. He is an outstanding coach, but I don't want to talk to you, Gary, about you coaching, because I know most coaches, they try and deflect all the attention away from themselves. I want to talk about your swimming career, and of course started here in Auckland on the North Shore.
Yeah, it did. I mean, I was a young champion on the Auckland swimming scene. In fact, 6 years and under, I think, Auckland champ. So a long time ago now.
Plenty of parents here in the stand, and let's be honest, the parents are the #1 sponsors and supporters of the young kids who are seeing it here this afternoon. Your parents in particular, from a swimming background, how are they?
Yeah, Jean and Lincoln, my mum and dad, they really supported me well. They had a learn to swim program, so I pretty much grew up with swimming and was, you know, right involved with it all the way.
Okay, let's go straight to that golden moment in Edmonton in '78, the backstroke, bringing home gold for New Zealand. Preparations, firstly, Gary, going into that meet.
Yeah, we had a big preparation program going into that meet. We had done a lot of work. We had a 7-week campaign overseas, and we were doing 10-kilometre sessions through the morning, again at night, and also middle of the day, 2 to 3 kilometres of work. So we were doing a lot of big mileage back in those days, which was a very simple way of training. They didn't know a whole lot about sports science, but they knew that if we did a lot of work, we'd come out fit at the end, so it worked.
Tactically, for the race itself, did you have anything in mind, or was it just go for broke?
Yeah, I had some tactics and some strategies within that race, and they all seemed to pay out perfectly. You know, my ambition was to really push the third 50, and when I did that, I felt fantastic. I had heaps of energy, and that's exactly what you want.
Now, Gary, you can put your coach's hat on for this, because just moments ago we saw the boys swim and the women swim the 200 backstroke. Tactically, give us a bit of an example of what they would have been doing in that race.
Well, they like to go out, the good swimmers like to go out with what they call an easy speed, so they're getting some good fast swimming out front, but they're feeling effortless and smooth with it. These days with the underwater dolphin kick, you've really got to utilise that aspect of the race and the skills, and getting a really good walls and good underwater push-offs and dolphin kick work. That's key to backstroke these days, and really just sort of building your effort as you go through the race. So in order to keep even splits on all 50s, you've really got to put more and more effort into the race.
You're also taking part, Gary, in the Legends Relay, which is going to be wonderful to see you some freestyle, of course, not backstroke. Arthritis New Zealand, you're raising money for. Who's part of your team?
Well, we've got a speedster with Corny Swanepoel, and we've got Janie and Craig Hudgell and Janie Nee Parkhouse. So, yeah, some real famous old swimmers in the group, and hopefully we'll do really well.
Get your excuse in now. Have you been doing any swimming, or are you going in fresh?
I've been doing a bit of surfing and quite a bit of sea swimming, so I don't know how that's going to relate, but I'll certainly know fast twitch speed work.
Thanks for your time, Gary.
All right, thank you.
He doesn't sort of look like the surfer he used to when he had that long blonde hair, hey, when he was about 17, 18. Interestingly, he talked about his mother and father, both Olympians, but his mother, Jean, is the only female New Zealander to have won an Olympic medal. And when we talk about Lauren Boyle and the hopes that we're putting on her for Rio, she will, if she was to do that, she would become only the second woman from New Zealand to win a swimming medal at an Olympics.
Yeah, we will lament the days when we saw Rebecca Perrott, who was probably tricked out of, well, not tricked, but sadly, I think that we definitely know that the Germans were drugged up in those days when she went in fourth at the Olympic Games and should have come away with a medal. As we see that we've now got the bell, and the bell indicating 100 metres to go for Zach Reid. So it's not going to be a fast time, but as we've kept saying, it's not about the time here. Nicholas Pride in lane number 5 from the Marcos in second position. And getting the bell now in lane number 4, Sebastian Prescott from the Harlequins Club.
Up at the top there, that's Tom Berry from the Swim Zone Racing, representing All Stars. He's in lane 6, but being lapped here by the leader right from the start, Zach Reid of Aquanites. Superior to all the rest going into this with his time. He had a personal best time going into this of around 16:30. And he's looking good. Zach Reid of Aquanites.
Yeah, the interesting thing for this this championships or this zonal meet is that they were selected off short course swimming, and now they're suddenly having to have to swim long course because we've gone into our long course season.
Nicholas Pride, he looked very smooth when we watched him coming home over that last 100 metres. Nicholas Pride of Marcos, he is in second place. The two of them standing alone there.
Well, a personal best from Nicholas Pride. He probably didn't need to finish as hard as he did because he's not going to earn any more points, but he has got a personal best time. But don't forget Zach Reed wearing the Joker cap, so he gets double points.
Sebastian Priskett has given Harlequins some points there, finishing in second place.
You can just see the difference there in the expressions. Nicholas Pride really worked hard, particularly in the latter stages of that race, and you could see it in his emotion when the camera zoomed in on him. He was pretty tired, whereas Zach seems to be just pretty fresh.
Just up at the top, a splash finish there between lanes 7 and 8 with Benjamin Rowe of Aquanites touching out Leo Tattersfield from Harlequins. The Zonal Championship approaches its second hour. Live, no delays in this. The swimmers, you can see, standing almost on the blocks, ready to go again. This is the men's 16 and over 1500. That's the next race. They're just awaiting Aragon Moore. I think maybe it'll be the last of the swimmers through. Here we come, the end of the men's 1500 metres. A long, long way, that 1500 in the water. And looking at the times, 18:47 for Aragon Moore.